All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that the life you'll be living in 2026 won't come from some huge burst of motivation, or from going viral, or making one giant, life-altering decision? The truth, the real secret, is that the future you want is being built right now. And it's being built by the small, consistent, and yeah, often pretty boring habits you either do every day or keep putting off. Does this feel familiar? You start the year, you've got these big goals, you're making promises to yourself, and you feel totally ready for a change. But then, a year goes by, and you look around and realize you're in the exact same spot. Same stress, same excuses, same old routine. Look, it's not because you're lazy. It's because when that initial high of motivation wears off, we all tend to choose what's comfortable over what's consistent. And this really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? We are wired to chase the exciting stuff, that feeling of motivation, the dream of overnight success, the drama of a huge life decision. But real, lasting change, that comes from the other column. It comes from the quiet, unglamorous, day in, day out work of consistency, boring habits, and tiny little actions. And here's the uncomfortable truth behind that quote. These small, boring things, well, they don't look good on social media. They don't go viral. And they definitely do not give you that instant hit of gratification that our brains are constantly craving. But make no mistake, they are the invisible architects of your future. They are slowly and quietly shaping not just your year, but the very person you're becoming. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through a blueprint for real change. First, we'll talk about the trap that keeps us all stuck. Then, we'll break down the 3 pillars you need to build a new foundation. And finally, we'll look at what all this means for the person you'll be in 2026. Okay, first things first, we have to tackle the biggest hurdle, the motivation trap. This is the belief that we have to feel ready or inspired or motivated before we can take action. But you know what? Motivation is flaky. It comes and goes, and relying on it is pretty much the #1 reason we fail to make lasting changes. And this is so crucial to understand. The problem isn't the date on the calendar. You don't fail because it wasn't your year. You fail because you're trying to follow a brand new map, your goals, while still running on your old internal programming. You just can't expect to arrive at a different destination if your daily habits and your very sense of who you are stay exactly the same. So where do we possibly begin? We start with the first and, honestly, the most critical pillar, building awareness. Think of it like turning on the lights in a dark room. You have to honestly look at what's really going on because you absolutely cannot change what you refuse to see. And this is the whole philosophy behind this first step. Most of us, myself included, kind of drift through our days on autopilot. We're just reacting to things, repeating the same old mistakes, and then we wonder why nothing ever feels different. Awareness is the thing that interrupts that pattern. It's that moment where you stop just living their life and you start consciously observing it. And that's where you get your power back. So how do we build this awareness? With super simple habits. A weekly reflection helps you see small problems before they become huge patterns. Tracking just one number, like how much you spent today, suddenly makes all those invisible money leaks totally visible. And ending your day with 3 wins, I don't care how small, starts rewiring your brain to look for progress instead of problems. All right, we've turned on the lights with awareness. Now let's move to our second pillar, building the consistency engine. This is where the real work starts. But the goal here isn't some giant push of effort. It's about building unstoppable momentum through small, daily actions that don't feel like a big deal at all. And this whole pillar is really built on the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen. The magic of Kaizen is that it works with your brain, not against it. See, your brain hates big, scary, intimidating changes, but it loves easy wins. So when a habit is ridiculously small, like doing 1 push-up or reading 1 page, your mind has no reason to fight you on it. You can just slip right past that mental friction that normally kills big goals before they even get off the ground. And the compounding effect is just, wow. Think about it. Reading 10 pages a day, it doesn't feel like much, but that adds up to over a dozen books in a year. Waking up at the same time every single day, it completely stabilizes your energy levels. Saving just 1% of what you earn isn't even about the money. It's about building the identity of someone who trusts themselves with their future. You know, it can all start with something as unbelievably simple as making your bed. This has nothing to do with having a tidy room. It's a powerful psychological cue. It's your first win of the day. It sends a clear message to your brain that says, hey, I'm the kind of person who can start something and finish it. That sets the tone for everything that follows. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, acting intentionally. Once you have awareness and you've built some momentum, you can now shift from being on autopilot to making conscious choices. You become the director of your life instead of just an actor reading someone else's script. This quote just nails it. Think about your own day. When you don't have a plan, your day is run by the outside world. It's notifications, emails, other people's emergencies. You wake up reacting. But when you have a plan, even a simple one, you wake up with purpose. You are directing your own attention and your own energy. And that is the ultimate form of control. So, how do we set ourselves up for that? With a super simple nightly routine. First, just decide on 3 priorities for the next day. That's it. This focuses your energy. Second, create what's called a digital sunset. Turn off all your screens an hour before bed. Let your brain actually wind down. And finally, put your phone across the room. This makes it impossible to start your day by reacting to it. And then you just reinforce this with intentional habits during the day. Protect that first hour. It's sacred. No phone, no social media. Use the 24-hour rule for any non-essential purchase. This is your self-control training. And do one hard thing every day. A tough workout, a difficult conversation. You're building that resilience muscle that our comfortable lives are so good at weakening. So let's bring this all together and talk about the 2026 version of you. This entire framework, awareness, consistency, and intention, it's not about a quick fix. Not at all. It's about the slow, quiet, deliberate construction of your future self. The person you're going to be in 2026, they're not a stranger. They are the direct result of thousands of tiny, seemingly insignificant choices that you are making right now, today. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. Real transformation doesn't happen under the spotlights. It happens in the quiet moments. It's when you choose to read instead of scroll, to save instead of spend, to do the hard thing instead of the easy thing. Nobody's going to applaud you for it, but that is where the real work gets done. And at the end of the day, the proof of this whole philosophy, it's not going to be in this explainer or in some book. It's going to be in the life that you have built. By 2026, the results of your consistent, boring habits will speak for themselves. And they will speak so clearly and so loudly that they won't need any explanation at all. So, the only question left is the one that actually matters. Don't wait for New Year. Don't wait for a burst of motivation that might never come. The change begins now with one small action. So I'll ask you, which boring habit will you start today?